Hello guys, welcome to another awesome tutorial. What we're going to be looking at now is how to get a crumbling or exploding clock. So if I hit play now, you can see this kind of floats off like kind of a matrix, gravity-less world, right? So we're going to look at how we can create this. And we're going to do that starting from scratch. Now, the first thing we want to do is to get the clock, preferably in a scene by itself. For now, you can always import it back into your main scene. Now, important point, this clock has been slightly modified than the clock that was distributed. If I isolate some of these parts, notice how they are properly built. The original clock that was given, the way in which it was modeled, it wouldn't really work so nice with the breaking apart of the pieces. So I'm going to put this clock for download on the class site, and what you do is swap out the clock that was given with you with this clock that has been optimized for breaking into little pieces, right? So let's do that. Okay, all right, so now in order to get this done, what we need to do is we're going to make use of a script, right? And it's a pretty awesome script. It's called Fracture Veroni, and it's been around for a while. As you can see, it was posted on in 2009, so it's been around for a while. And essentially what it does is quickly break up components for you. Now you might be saying, what exactly is a script? And a script is basically kind of like an app. Think about an app for your phone, but it's an app for 3D Max. So the first thing we're going to do is go to this website. This link will be in the forum on the class site, so you can go there. And when we go there, we're going to download this script, the latest version here. We hit download, we see it comes on the bottom down there. I'm going to minimize this Chrome window, and to run the script, it's as simple as dragging it from the folder location. So I'm going to go show in folder, and there is the script, and all you need to do is drag it into Max, and that's it. It will run. So notice when you drag the script into Max, this is the application that it runs, and the application is pretty straightforward, right? How it works is you choose pick object, and you select the object you want to break into little pieces. You choose the amount of pieces, so I'm going to choose, let's say I choose 15 pieces, press enter, and then I choose break into 15 pieces, and voila, that's it. Notice it's now broken into little pieces. I mean, it's literally that easy. So it will always break nicely as long as you have modeled your model properly, right? So if you have a model that's not properly enclosed, it's not really going to work, right? So we're going to go through and break up the rest of these parts. So I'm going to click on this part here. Remember, you have to come here to select object that you want to fracture. You click that object, so it says upper clock, that's upper clock, and I'm going to break this into 15 pieces again. There we go. I click that again, choose another part, and alright, that's pretty much it. For these individual pieces, so you want to click on each. Actually, I'm thinking for this round we can actually leave these as a whole. So let's not break this, let's just have this fall down. Alright, so now everything is pretty much broken. Now you can still select all the objects, for example in this bottom piece, by notice you can select everything that's on a layer. So I can actually highlight everything here, and I can give all of this one material, for example. So now you can apply materials in here, or you can choose to do it in Lumion. It's up to you. To apply materials in Max, you would go to your material editor, which is here. Your material editor will come up, and what you need to do is minimize everything here. So I'm going to minimize onto this, minimize materials, minimize all of this until I get to, let's minimize everything. And you want to use the material, Autodesk material library. So for example, you can choose concrete, and you can choose, let's choose concrete, let's choose concrete blocks, and you connect that to there, assign to selection, and pretty much that's it. So, and we can preview that in the viewport, show material in viewport, like that. Now, we won't be too concerned about the materials here, because chances are you'll be adding materials in other programs. But just in case you're adding the materials here, what you would do is when you apply it, you would want to add a modifier to all of these components. So we can, and that modifier is called a UVW map modifier there, and I'm going to choose box, and that will allow me to scale this material appropriately. Right now it's using real world scale, but if you ever want to rescale, you can turn off real world scale, and that will allow you to scale the material independently, like that. There we go. Real world scale is fine, so I'm just going to leave that. Alright, so that's pretty much it if you want to be adding materials in Max. Now, hold on a sec, we're not quite done. Now what we need to do is enable the physics system in the application. And to do that, what we need to do is we're going to right click on any one of these spaces up here, like this space up here, and we're going to turn on this, what's called the Mass Effects toolbar. Alright, so we're going to turn that on like that, and notice you will get this toolbar that comes up. It looks like that. And essentially what this does, Mass Effects allows you to select objects and give them a real world weight. So you're going to select everything here, and we're going to choose this option here, which means rigid body. So we're going to apply, we're going to tell these objects, or we're going to tell Max that these objects are real world solid bodies that will have a mass. And to do that, all we have to do is select all the objects and just click that one, and that's it. They now have a mass. And actually you can click the properties button here, and what that will do, it can do things like gives you gravity, or you want no gravity, or you want to have your own custom gravity. For example, if you want gravity falling up, you will choose this one. We're going to leave it on the default, which is directional gravity on the Z. And what we're going to do is just press the play button now, and notice when you press the play button, everything just kind of crumbles to the ground, which is pretty cool. There we go. There we go. And that's what that simulation does. Now, if I hit back, it's going to just reset. So your computer might do that differently depending on the specs that you have, because what it's actually doing is simulating every piece and the physics that acts on every piece. Now, some additional things, you can select all these pieces here and go here, and you can say I want all these pieces to be, so notice in this listed here, you see where you have presets. I can actually say I want this to be, you know, limestone, rubber, steel, so I'm going to choose concrete. Alright, and that will kind of change the way how it acts, so we can simulate again. And that's the way how it kind of falls like that, and that's pretty cool. Okay, now I'm gonna hit back. Now what you have to do now is to bake this animation, and baking is simply saying that we're going to create keyframes. Okay, so to begin the baking process, all you have to do is go up here to simulation, and we're going to choose bake all, and when we hit that, it's going to create keyframes for this animation. Now what we want to do is to ensure that we have enough keyframes for the animation, and to adjust the keyframes you're going to choose this icon here. So I'm assuming that we can get 250 keyframes worth of time to animate this clock crumbling. Let's see if that works out. So if I hit play, notice that these are the amount of keyframes that it's using up. So by the time it hits, notice that that's pretty much the animation right there. Okay, so we're going to start the baking process now by choosing bake all. And that should be good. Alright, now if you notice, if you click each one of these, you will see it has created keyframes for every single movement, for every single piece of geometry. So now what I'm going to suggest is that we go into the time and we increase the time to, like, say about 200 frames, and then we're going to select everything. And what we're going to do, because we don't want it to start breaking apart immediately when the animation begins, so we're going to click hold and select all of these keyframes for every object here, and we're going to drag it down to about there. So that way we will start animating at about 20 frames. So now if we hit play, when it gets to 20 frames is when it starts animating. Let's do that again. So we hit play, and there we go, when it reaches 20 frames. And notice it plays more real time now, and that's because it has basically calculated all the positions ahead of time. So these objects are animating based on a recorded keyframe animation, meaning if I should click this one object and move it out here, notice that, you know, it still animates because the animation for this object has been baked into the polygon like that. So I'm going to undo that so it goes back into its position there. Now if you don't like how it baked and you didn't like the way how it crumbled, you could always select everything and unbake all. So you will delete these keyframes if you want to, like, increase the gravity, or you want to change the material, and you could rebake this object. Alright, so about this point now, it's a good time to save. So I'm going to hit save, and then it's time to export into whatever program you want. So the file format we're going to use to export, we're going to go to export all, and we are going to export this as, and let's call this clock crumble. Now here are the important options you need to choose. When you're exporting and this dialog box comes up, you want to make sure that animation is checked, and you want to make sure bake animation is checked, and you're going to choose OK, and that's pretty much it. Now we open Lumion, and what we do is we go on to import, and we find that that file that we saved, which is clock crumble. We're going to open that. Ensure that you check animations on, and click yes, and notice you might not see it because of the scale of the object, so we're going to click somewhere and we are going to zoom out. There we go. There we go. And that's pretty much the animation right there. Okay, so that pretty much covered that sequence there. And that's how you get the animation of a crumbling clock into Lumion. Thanks for watching.